Okay, we should be good to go now. It's 5:20. This is video number 93, and we're doing test questions 44 to 47. As you can see, they're up on the board. And I'll do 44 and 45 and post their answers. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on exactly what the answers should have been, and then I'll talk about what I actually did. So let's turn our attention over here. They tell us we have some sort of cone. They tell you what the area is. They tell you what the height is, and you have to find the volume. A lot of kids got stuck here because it's a two-step question, but high school kids are expected to do two-step questions. The area equals pi r squared. The area they gave you. It's in centimeters squared. They made it very clear what was going on. Equals pi r squared. So when I divide both sides by pi and take the square root, as you've been taught so many times, then r is going to equal this irrational number that we've talked about so much. Okay? So now you have that down, and you've got that taken care of. It's some sort of irrational number. Any number divided by a pi is going to be irrational, and then imagine the square root thereof. And so then you take whatever that is, whatever it comes out on the calculator, and I came up with to 100, 1905. And now that you have r, now you can calculate the volume. So the volume's 1/3 pi 19.05 squared to 100. Whatever you want to look at that for, times 13. And then you multiply right to left, and you divide by 3. And we turn out coming up with approximately 4940, and I come up with 0.4 when I round. But when I saw 4940, I gave everybody credit on that. So the answer was irrational, rounded to whatever, and we just move on from a question like that, which we've done. However, I mentioned one more time, it's a two-step question. First, you have to find r, figure out r's value, and then plug it in a second time. That's what I noticed was a bit of a problem with you kids doing, and that's concerning, besides the fact that many of you just totally ignore cubic and square and centimeters. Everything for you guys, some of you guys, is just another number, and you'll see as you go along that that's going to cause you problems, because math is certainly more than answering in the correct number. Okay, so now we go on to the next one, number 45. Let's focus in here. And we've seen this question so many times before. I don't have the picture alone, tells you what they want. So in this question, you didn't really have to do all that much. I'll do what needs to be done now. You know that it's the cylinder, which is pi r, which is 4.5 squared, times the same number. Looks like they're making this an easy one. And then, of course, you're subtracting pi over 3 4.5 the same, because they share, has been said so many times. And then times, of course, the same height, as they fit in like a glove here. And so your answer should be obvious, since these numbers are all the same. Here, would you like it if I rewrote it? Minus, sorry about that, just put that in really quick. Just a little mistake. Chalk is so much better, I think. Okay, minus pi over 3, 4.5 cubed. And then, of course, going back to 6th grade, you get 2 over 2 pi times 4.5 to the third. And then, I'm looking at my notes here, they want an exact answer. And they asked you for an exact answer. Now, any kids who could figure these things out, I gave them credit. But on a proper test, They want the exact answer. And the exact answer, when you multiply these guys together, is this. And true enough, a lot of kids did come up with this exact answer, but that's what they meant, not multiplying 6.75 by pi. Okay, so there was the exact answer, but again, I gave credit for kids who at least were able to come up with something there. Okay, and now we go on to the next question, and the next two should come in fairly quickly for us. We're in good shape as I move along here. They're really not that hard, either one, especially if you were doing your assignments and working the way you were asked to do it. We look at number 46, and it says a right cone has a volume, so we make a little picture of a right cone. We write number 46 here. And we see that the right cone has a volume, so they're giving you the volume, and you check the numbers here. 160 pi. Oops, it's in terms of pi. No mystery for kids who are doing their work. You were taught that, and it has a radius. Wait a minute, and it has a radius. To find the radius, it has a height of 6. So there we go. And then find the radius. So we've done these problems many times. I'm double checking so I don't waste time here. What is the radius? Okay. So here we go. And we've done these so many times. So since V, which is 160 pi, we're dropping the centimeters cubed. By the way, these are centimeters. Worth noting that they're in the same value of measurement. And then, of course, this is 1/3 pi, okay, times r squared, which we're looking for, times 6. So it kind of looks like the problems that Mr. Donnelly was giving you. You divide by pi and the 2 here. Okay, this is a 2 that's left over. 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I'm dividing on one side and doing the other side, and so I get 80 here equals r squared. So they asked for an exact answer, so the exact answer would have been r equals radical 80, but that's not simplified, so how could it be exact? And a lot of you remembered, remembered the math that you were taught, which is good because that will help you going into high school. And the correct answer was this. Although a lot of kids wrote 8.94 because they don't have any feeling for numbers. They're not really paying attention that much. But this was the answer they wanted. But of course, 8.94 at least shows that you understand how to do the problem. So since we're all online, I gave you credit for that. But this is the correct answer here. And probably the Regents would accept radical 80, though it's not simplified, as we've talked about. By the way, it's worth noting this was the only problem with a radical in it. It came up naturally. And a lot of kids, I was very proud of them. They got that one. So good. Hopefully you're learning something here, preparing for the rigors of high school, much harder material, much more challenging work you'll be doing in math and science in high school. And now we're going to do number 47. We have enough time. And they say, which is larger, this sphere, and the radius is 16. That's all we need to know about the radius here. And then they talk about a cone with the same radius and a height of 32. So there's a cone. It's got the same radius and it's got a height of 32. And some kids, which is greater, right? You could do it that way. Okay, greater, less than, whatever way. And you can read the English for yourself. And I'll put this in, and I'll show you really don't have to do any math to figure that out. The sphere's going to be double the cone. A couple of people wrote that. It was kind of disappointing. actually the amount of abstract math that kids were willing to do. So there's the formula for the volume of the sphere. And we'll put a little box here. So which way the arrow goes, or maybe it's equal, right? And then we're asking about this, which is pi over 3. And then it's 16 squared times 32. But if you think about it just for a second, you really don't have to be a genius to see the so obvious the trick they want you to do, right? And this is what we do in math all the time if you think about it. And then I'll just bring this down so you can see what's going on. And it's so obvious that this becomes 16 cubed. We'll move this down to the very bottom here so you can get everything. So this just becomes pi over 3, 16 cubed. And then the 2 just tattles over here, right? So that's what it turns out to be without punching in numbers, right? And then we have our box here and our box here. And then this becomes 4 over 3, pi 16, 3. So this is all the same number, pi 16, 3. So I'm just comparing 4 over 3 to 2 over 3. Obviously, the sphere is double the size of the cone. So there you go. We're almost done. We have 3 more left. I'll do those tomorrow, and that will make the test complete. I just think it was a entirely doable test. We'll talk more about it in a minute. I'll get everything up so you can see everything there. And actually, let's post the answers if we have them handy here. Let's see. So this one, of course, was double. The sphere was bigger. And let's see if the key is out. Yeah. And we had 46 was 4 radical 5. That was 46. And precisely 44. 45. Let's see, we had that one there. 44. That's 45. 44 was 4940, irrational and some change. And finally, the exact answer of 45, as we said, was 60.75 pi. So those were the answers they wanted. Notice the exact answers. This one's an inexact answer. And the last one, I know some kids crunch numbers and all that. Totally unnecessary. Okay? So there we go. There are the answers over there. I just circled them around. Everything's taken care of here. So we're ready to post this to you.